So you don't want to waste time when you're working in Excel. Let's look at tip number one. First thing we're going to do is we're going to drag down a formula. So go in here. We've written the formula up to this point. We double left. You go to the bottom right hand corner of the cell, and the icon changes to sort of a thinner cross. So we double left click this, and it goes all the way down. Now we go to this cell, and the same thing. We double left click that, we go all the way down. So here we had some blanks over here, and we were able to double click it. Here it was all filled in. Didn't matter either way. Now let's go over to this part over here. I'm just going to erase this. Now if I double left click, it doesn't work. And a lot of people ask me, well, why is that? Here's the reason why. We think when we look at this data here, this area right here, we think it's all one data set, but Excel doesn't see it that way. If I unhide some of these columns here, right click, unhide them all. Here, let's go back to this part. Let's hold down the control key and press the letter A. That is one little data set, right? What Excel recognizes. If I go here and press control and then the letter A, that's the second one. And here, if I press control A, this is the data set here. It ignores all of this because of the blank right in here. Now, what you could do is delete the two columns and delete this column, and then it would work. I'll just show you how that works. If I delete this, delete these two columns, and then I'm going to just double left click, and it goes all the way down. But what if you can't do that? For whatever reason, you have to leave some blanks in there. So here's what you can do. Go to the little area, and let's just do this. Let's jump to the bottom with the end and the down arrow. And however way you get down here, now we're in the column where we want to drag that formula down. We're confirming that this is the last cell in our data set, or the last row. Now we're going to do this. If you look at the top, it's step 3. We're going to hold down the control key, hold down the shift key, and press the up arrow. That selects all of this, and now we're going to press control D for down. Tip number 2. If you're working with a data set, this is what we see here is a non-normalized data set, meaning that we have date in one column. We have the second column, which is our weather. We have it across the top, and then we have the data for that particular weather element and date. We have it in the cells here. So this is not normalized. You could normalize this with formulas. That takes a lot longer, and it takes a lot more effort. So here's how you can quickly do it. The Alt-DP trick. So first of all, we want to hold down the Alt key, or just press the Alt key, press the letter D, press the letter P, all very quickly. Multiple consolidation ranges. We're going to say next. We're going to say I will create them. I'm going to say 0. Now we select the range like this with the mouse, or you can just start with the first one, Control Shift right, Control Shift down. That will select everything, and now we can quickly just finish this off by saying next. Let's go into a new worksheet, finish. And then what I like to do, I don't know if it's necessary, but I just take out the row and the column, and then I just double left click that answer. Now it's created a normalized data set, and we could just call this date. We could call this weather, and let's just call it data. And now we could take this and paste it back into our original data set. So let's now go to tip 3. That's now going to be creating dates out of non-normalized data. So we have the year here, here, and here. We have Q1, Q2, Q3. We want to create dates out of that. Now, we could do it the hard way, but why? Why create a crazy formula? So, number 1, we're going to fill the blanks in. I've already done this. But what you do is, let's just actually delete this, and I'll just show you very quickly how this works. You notice the formulas now will be affected. They don't look correct. They're wrong. So, highlight the area. Let's go to Home, and then over on the right it is Find Select. It's also Control G, the shortcut. Then we go Special. We want to say the blanks. We want to select the blanks. And now there's always an active cell. That's cell C7, which is right here. We're going to go into the formula bar and say equals B7, typing it, which is the cell to the left of the active cell, which is C7. Now I'm going to hold down the Control key and press the Enter key. Now that enters in the dates. I've just made them white, but let's just very quickly make them red. You can see they're all there, and now let's go back and make them white so we don't see them. So their presentation has not been affected. Now I simply go in here and I use the date function to create the dates. And basically the first cell is taking the year, which is this one right here, and now I'm extracting the 1, or the number from the quarter out of there. I'm doing +0 to convert it. I put brackets around it, multiply by 3 and -2. And I think there's probably 4 or 5 different ways to do this. And finally, for the day, I'm hard coding a 1. Now you just drag this across and you have the dates for everything you need. Let's go to tip number 4. Now, I'll just erase this and explain this. What we have here, this could be anything, but you want to get all combinations of these with all of these. So once again, you could use formulas, but we don't really need to. So let's do this. Very quick way to do it. And I'm just going to take an extra couple seconds just to copy paste this. But we're taking these guys and we are just going to right click, paste special transpose. Oops. Let me just highlight that again. Copy. Select the cell, and you know what? I bet you transpose is right. Yeah, there it is. I see. I have to more to learn myself. So now we're going to press Alt DP. Multiple consolidation ranges once again. Do this. 0. Oh yes. Select the range. Go like that. Do this. Next. New workbook. Finish. And now I'm just going to take out those two things. And if I just double left click right in there, it creates everything for me. So now if we ignore row number 1, which is just the column headers, we have 52, which is exactly what we want. So let's now go. That was tip number 4, I believe. Yes. One more tip. Tip number 5. We want to create a series of numbers that are repeating 1 to 4, 1 to 4, 1 to 4. 85 times. So here we have our inputs. Let's even change this to a 5. 1 to 5, and we want that to go 85 times, 85 sets. So here I just have a simple formula telling me this is going to be 425 total numbers. And I have another simple formula telling me if I have dragged down the solution far enough. Why drag this thing down a million rows if you don't have to? So here's my kind of cheat way of doing this. Step number 1, type in a 1. Step number 2, a very simple if statement. I'm going to say if I add the one above and our input, is it greater than the input? If so, go back to 1. If not, take the value above, which is a 1 this time for this example, and add a 1 to it. So we drag that down and we get our repeating sets of 1 to 5. Now we look in here and it says false. And this formula tells me that I have to drag it down much further. So let's go to the bottom here, and it's a little bit off the screen. I'm going to drag this down, and you're going to see in a second, so now I've dragged it down too far. So let's just erase some of these, and it's going to tell us exactly how far. That's kind of a neat thing, exactly how far we have to go. So it makes it more efficient that way. So we're almost there. I guess you could have a macro as well that would make this super efficient, but now we just got a few left, and the formulas are dragged down far enough. So I'll make more of these videos, but 5 tips just to save time in Excel.